Welcome to Where Scripture Speaks Clearly. We have a family of sites. We have www.wherescripturespeaksclearly.org, which has almost 4,000 Bible messages on there. We have the ability to use up to 260 different Bibles. We also have like 11 or 12 Facebook pages to share the gospel. We're on Lord's Book. We're on MeWe, YouTube, Twitter, and True Social. Today, Ecclesiastes 3, verse 16 through 21, it says, the injustices of life. Starting in verse 16, I also noticed that throughout the world there is evil in the courtroom. Yes, even the courts of law are corrupt. I said to myself, in due season, God will judge everyone, both good and bad, for all their deeds. Then I realized that God allows people to continue in their sinful ways so he can test them. That way they can see for themselves that they are no better than animals. For humans and animals both breathe the same air and both die. So people have no real advantage over the animals. How meaningless. Both go to the same place, the dust from which they came and to which they must return. For who can prove that the human spirit goes upward and the spirit of animals goes downward into the earth? So I saw that there is nothing better for people than to be happy in their work. That is why they are here. No one will bring them back from death to enjoy life in the future. So now, let's go back to the first 8 verses. A time for everything. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 through 8. There is a time for everything, a season for every activity under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to harvest, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to rebuild, a time to cry and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to scatter stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to turn away, a time to search and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be quiet and a time to speak up, a time of love and a time of hate, a time of war and a time for peace. So now we've heard that song and we probably realize it sounds like a 1960s song. So now we'll just read verse 9 through 15 to finish the chapter. What do men really get for all their hard work? I have thought about this in connection with the various kinds of work God has given people to do. God has made everything beautiful and for its own time. He has planted eternity in the human heart, but even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. So I concluded that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to enjoy themselves as long as they can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God. And I know that whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. God's purpose is that people should fear him. Whoever exists today, and whatever will exist in the future has already existed in the past, for God calls each them back in its turn. So we did Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 22, but we started at verse 16 through 22. We at Where Scripture Speaks Clearly, we do Bible studies. A lot of times we compare different Bibles. Why do we do that? Because God has given us over 260 Bibles to share the gospel with. So if you like either reading or watching Bible videos, Where Scripture has you covered. Go to www.wherescripturespeaksclearly.org. Like, share, follow, subscribe. Go to a Facebook page called Where Scripture Speaks Clearly and do the exact same thing. There's different platforms you'll see this on. You'll hear about them. Go to them, get involved in a positive way. Thank you for coming here today. Be blessed always. See you again soon.